And welcome back to What If. That's right, I'm getting to a What If before I go to bed and before the week's done. So, yeah. And normally I do a lot of Dragon Ball Z What Ifs because there's a lot of easy ideas you can come up with unique ideas. But I also like to try to get to other ones. So last couple of weeks I've been trying to get to non-Dragon Ball Z related ones. But I figured it's time to throw myself back into the wheelhouse of the Dragon Ball Z related ones. And with this one, as you can tell with chapter ideas, this is one that popped in my head earlier this week, and I'm like, oh, I really want to do this one because this one could go really interesting. Um, However, I do want to say someone did give me a suggestion for one. I'm not going to say the name. It was if Goku had been found by the Red Ribbon Army. And I will get to that. But from the way they suggested it is the way someone else has suggested it. So I'm just going to say this. If you give me a suggestion, it is on my list. I have written it down. But don't think I'm going to get to it immediately just because you asked me repeatedly to like, could you please do this? Could you please do this? Could you please do this? That's not going to accelerate when I get to it. Because I have people on a list. I have an order in which I get to people. Some more when new people come in and ask for a request, then I have to add them on the list, so it will take longer to rotate. It's a rotation basically, but I will get to you eventually. That's just it. Just patience. I will get to you folks. So with that being said, you've read the title. What if the Tournament of Power was done in a Budokai style? What if it was done like the other world martial arts tournaments? Single person, one-on-one, bracket style until there is only one winner left. So the way I designed this, it's a little trick. So basically, the way the Grand Prix would probably go about this, rather than saying, okay, we're going to do a tournament, and it's going to be as Goku described. However, we're still going to do the 80 combatants as the Grand Priest has a couple ideas and said about what happens when we get to the final opponents. Because remember, it's got to be in a divisive nature of 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. We have 80. Therefore, it's not going to be down. It's not going to will down evenly to just one-on-one. We'll get to that when we get to that. So how would this tournament style work? Well, when the Grand Prix shows, when they all get to there, I'm imagining it's going to be a ring that's a little, like maybe twice as large as the ring that we had in the exhibition match in Universe 9 and 7. Grand Prix will go over the world, so no killing, no weapons. It will still be. I'm gonna say it's still gonna be if you're knocked from the ring. That one I think is still gonna be is still going to play a factor into it. It's still gonna be if you're knocked from the ring, or if you literally can't fight anymore. No, it's gonna be knocked from the ring. Still gonna be knocked from the ring, but it's gonna be universes will fight each other. He's gonna say, no matter what happens, you will have to fight as though it's in your intent to win. Do not surrender simply because you're fighting against your own universe, and that is going to be key here. He'll also say, to be fair, no one from a sharing universe will fight each other in the first round. However, after that, it's no holds bar, and you will not. There is no going easy on each other. Remember, this is for the Great Omni King's entertainment. Therefore, if the Omni King says, yeah, you're not fighting to this, yes, you must fight, otherwise, boop, race you. So yeah, you can't just go easy on you, go easy and just throw yourself out. Also, there will be, if he will announce like, well, and we will have 5-minute breaks between to give each between each round. When I say round, I don't mean that between each round of bouts, basically. So when we've gone through every fight in the round 1 with everyone, there'll be a 5-minute break so everyone can pretty much take a quick breath. Besides that, people who already fight will be getting quick breaths. Some fights will go quicker than others. Some fights will go longer than others. So without further ado, now the way I did this, it took me a little bit. I gave each fighter a number. And to be fair, bracket style, I cheated a little bit. Goku and Jiren do not fight. I wanted to make sure Goku and Jiren would not fight in the first round or be in the same bracket. Like, same half of the bracket. Remember, it's 80, so it's literally 20 fights in the first round. Some of them are going to go real quick, though. So yeah, but I gave them each a number, and then I went to a random number generator online and just number. Okay, there's the first route. Then and if a repeat number came up, I just went to the next number. After a while, it got to the point where it was like maybe 8 people left, so I basically just renumbered them and then went to 8. So that's basically how that went down. So without further ado, how does this whole fight go down? Well, as Grand Prix is like, let the tournament of power begin. There's no time limit, by the way. Tournament of power begin. The first round would have gone to, and I'm just going to make sure I have my round 2 fight here. The first round fight would have been between Universe 11's Kettle from the Pirate Troopers, the guy who could do the energy strings that exploded, versus oh god, the Pikea. You know what? Since I've got my computer right here, I'm actually just gonna get their names up here because when I wrote them down when I was doing the whole reviews for the Tournament of Power and all that, I didn't write them down actually the way they were legitimately spelled because that was the names I originally saw. Versus where are you? Universe 3's Panchia, which is the robot who was just a standard green looking robot. Now, in this fight would probably go on for a few minutes. Kettle would eventually reveal his strings, and Panchia, even though being a robot durable, would not be able to overall take the overall amount of power that's in the explosive. Also, Kettle could probably handle his own, and basically, Panchia would. And by the way, I know a lot of these fighters were just like the robots, particularly like Universe 3 was designed for the multi-group fighting. We're gonna go with the assumption that they were more prepared for made for more single one-on-one style fight. Panchia would eventually not be able to move just because the whole place would be laid out with strings, and then Kettle would have the strings blowed up in his face, and he'd be eliminated and sent to the bench. So Kettle would win. The next fight would be between Universe 10's Zoom, which was the bird, versus Universe 6's Pina, who was one of the Namekians, the big Namekian. And yeah, Jim would, and there'd be still no flying, that'd be in our rule. Jim would completely get his. Jim lost to Krillin for crap's sake. Come on. So just like blast him. Right? It wouldn't that won't go quick. Just boom, boom. Then next fight would be Universe 10's Ribolt, who was if I remember correctly, who was the red dude with the dreads, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he was. He was the red dude with the dreads versus Universe 3's Boretta. Boretta would beat this guy down. This guy could at least kind of trade blows with Piccolo for a little bit, but nothing would really come from that. Boretta would just beat his Bora, just beat him off the side of the ring. So then we go into the next fight, which would be Universe 3's Viara. Which one was that? Viara, which was the I called him the kind of night robot, but he was the one that 1718 ganged up on near the end with the fight between Universe 3 and was said to have such a tough defense. And he would be going up against Universe 2's Sue, or Rosie as she was also known as. Sue Rosa. And this one would take a bit longer. The Viara's durability would be a big issue for Rosie because even Android 18 and 17 couldn't initially break through his defense. Rosie is not as strong as either of those two. She could put Goku in base form on edge for a little bit, but she couldn't beat him. So, and her abilities rely a bit on key manipulation. So yeah, she could maybe barrage him for a little while, but unlike 1718, she would tire out, which is when VR would just strike and knock her and basically quickly take an advantage and win the fight. Universe 2, next round would be Tien versus Rabara, the orange guy from Universe 2. Rabara never really showed any true skill or abilities until later on, and it was only because he again took on the magical girl powers. So that would pretty much end pretty quickly. Tien would be, Just boom, 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 and then just boom, Tri-Beam, boom, then knock him off. So Tien would win that fight. Your next fight would be Gohan versus, what was his name? Hermilla, the sniper dude from Universe 2 as well. And that fight would also not go very quickly, or not go very slowly. That would be a pretty fast fight. Just, maybe he'd throw a punch, maybe he'd also fire some lasers. Gohan would try to keep a distance for a little bit, and then Gohan would get in and just boom, smack him in the gut, and then boom, because so far the fighters we've seen a lot that go up were not really made for close range fights that much. Universe 10 Methop, if that was his, I believe that was his name, Methop, Hansel. Yeah, Methop, which was like the kind of crustacean looking dude, would fight Universe 6-9's Hop, who was the cat girl lady, and we actually saw she had some abilities. So her, and I did put her against. Yeah, where's my round 2? 1 second, I'm just making sure I get round 2. It was, I did give it to Hop, right? Pretty certain I gave it to Hop. I'm dead, Jim. Round 2? Yeah, didn't I give it to Hop? I could have swore I gave it to Hop. Oh no, well, first off, I'm a little ahead of the game here, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I skipped ahead a fight. It was Methop versus Sirloin, and that was right. Sorry, I looked at it wrong. It was Methop versus Sirloin, or Zerloin. And Zerloin would win. We didn't see really anything. He was the big Thanos-looking guy who was also part of Universe 2. Zerloin didn't have, again, really any key abilities that we saw outside of the magical girl Brienne power, but he was physically strong, he was powerful, and Methop just wouldn't be able to physically take him on. Then we went on to the Universe, next fight, which was Universe 4's, what was his name? Universe 4's, name. Shasta, I believe, who was the wolf, I believe? The wolf that played dead, versus Universe 6's Kaba. He was able to take a team by surprise, but frankly, Kaba would wreck this dude. Kaba would just go Super Saiyan and he would wreck this dude. That would, again, not be a quick fight. Next, we'd have Universe 11's Topo versus Universe 4's Damon, the little, almost microscopic bug guy. And that's interesting. Now, first off, Topo would win the fight, but Topo would have difficulty with him, just because of how small and fast he is. Because he'd just be, but eventually he would just hit his hand so he could just go boom and then just toss him out. So it would be a fun, unique fight, but it would not be a long-lasting fight. It would probably end relatively quickly, I'd say. It might go on for a couple longer seconds than some of the other ones, but it would definitely end relatively quick. And the next one up would be Universe 11's Kotal versus Universe 4's Genos. Kotal being the female member of the Pride Troopers who created the dimensional spaces, and Genos being like the head of Universe 4, the green guy who could turn into the bird. This one will be interesting. They would be trading blows for a while. Genos' ability to just continually get stronger the longer the fight goes on. It's a legitimate ability of his. Would, I think, eventually overcome Kotal's energy shields. If she trapped him, if he would eventually, I think, grow strong enough to break out of them. Then his power would, would be capped for a little bit until he gets to his next fight. Then we have Megetta versus Hop. Now, this is where I got, because when I wrote it down, they looked similar, Methop and Megetta. But Megetta versus Hop, she just try to scratch Megetta and just go, cho. And you, boom, just smack her out of the ring, so that'd be done. Next up would be Universe 11's Jiren. Oh god, this poor guy, I remember now. Jiren would be going up against Universe 9's Roselle. I felt so bad for this guy. Roselle, the bat guy that Frieza fought against, who we didn't see anything from him at all. He just basically he's basically just being tortured by him. It was, oh man, it was kind of hard to watch, really. It was hilarious, but hard to watch. After that, we have Universe 7's 18 versus Universe 10's Jira, where'd you go? Oh yeah, Jirasen, who was, if I'm not mistaken, the other red guy, or was he the pink guy? Yes, he was the pink guy with the flower. Apparently, and it says so, the statements by authors and guidebooks, he was a key player in Universe 10 during the Tournament of Power. Really? Okay. Um, being effortlessly knocked away by Android 17 to detect Piccolo, but this guy would lose really quick to 18. He would lose really quick to 18. Vegeta next would be Vegeta from Universe 7 versus Casserole from he's not Casserole really, but would be Casserole, basically the general of the Pride Troopers, the guy with the cybernetic eye and the energy blades that fought against 17. That would be a decent fight. Vegeta would actually get a good workout with this guy. Once he went Super Saiyan, I think he'd be overall able to overpower him. The fight wouldn't be extremely quick, but it wouldn't be extremely long. He would, maybe he throws a punch and it enhances his energy blades, and Vegeta's like, whoa, and then he's got a cut on his cheek, and then Vegeta just blows him away eventually. But maybe he can cut through his blast. So Vegeta and like Super Saiyan Vegeta would probably be stronger, but still, Castor will be able to hold his own. But then maybe he goes Super Saiyan 2 and basically kind of just ends the whole fight, and then just like, yeah, done. So Castor would lose, but that would be a cool little fight they'd have. And then it would be Nigirishi, the fish-like leader from Universe 3, versus Frieza, and we never really saw how strong he was, but Kaba in base form, I think, could, or was it Super Saiyan Kaba? Kaba anyway, could knock his ass out. He eliminated him. So, yeah, that would not end well for that guy. Frieza wins. Next up would be Gamacera, the invisible opponent from Universe 4 versus Piccolo. We actually had this fight happen in the Universe Tournament of Power. Piccolo ended up using, tactics, making smoke, and then just figuring his target out and just knocks him out. Then we have, next fight would be Kawaii from Universe 4, the chick who can make energy weapons, versus the Preacho. Who did I say won this fight? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to remember who I actually said would win this fight. Okay, yep. Now, we didn't see anything really from the Preacho because he got beat by Tien and Roshi. But it's implied that because he got hit by a very powerful Tri-Beam, but without a scratch on him, he just got pushed out of the ring. He didn't have a scratch on him. He's probably really durable. However, I'm still going to probably have to give the edge in this fight to Kawaii just because we saw more from her in that she could make a hammer, smack him, maybe make an energy cage for all we know, energy darts, all that. So I'd say Kawaii would take the fight. Then we had what was it? Gigano, the red guy who could do the Spider-Man thing. He could do like a Spider-Man kind of just web shooter ability, just but he's also labeled like one of the weakest members of Universe 9, so take that for what it's worth. He would be going up against Frost, and Frost would easily own him. Now, granted, he could probably get Frost's hand, and it's like, oh, and then just Frost just blasts through it with his other death beam, just oh, filthy monkey. Oh wait, filthy red man. So yeah, and then we have Zeray from Universe 11, who was which one was he again? I believe he was the little guy. The little guy who could make the little tornado. Yes, that is what he was. The little guy with the horns who could make the tornado. And he would go up against Ribrianne, and Ribrianne would pretty much beat him. Yeah, he can make a tornado, which is cool, but without Tupper to combo with, there'd be no real damage that was being dealt with. It could deflect some attacks, but Ribrianne would eventually just be able to overpower him. Then we have Lavender versus Nariyama, or the robot that was designed specifically by Universe 3 to survive in tournament, having all those features. Now, Lavender's claim to fame in his tournament or in his fighting technique is the fact that he can poison you, is that he can weaken you through poison. And because it's a machine, he can't do that, which immediately takes away a big advantage he has. Now, he was strong enough to go toe-to-toe with a Super Saiyan Gohan, granted, who was poisoned. But he could still go toe to toe for a while. The Gohan still actually was stronger than him. To him, there was still stronger than him. So I would say that Lavender would try hard, but Niriyama would win the fight. Lavender would be eliminated. Then we move on to the second bracket with Prum, the big blobby guy from Universe 2, who was basically reflected energy, versus Hyssop, Hyssop, the big ice giant who from Universe 9, and he's labeled as an ice giant. He has a freezing ability. Hyssop. And Prum Prum's kind of okay in terms of strength, but Hyssop plus his freezing abilities would beat Prum. Hyssop would win that fight, which marks, I think, one of the first fights wins in Universe 9 got. Confe and our Universe 9 member would fight Majora. Now, Majora's the blind fox. Confe was the Swamp Thing looking guy from Universe 9, who we never really saw any abilities from. So Majora automatically is going to take this because I factor he's probably weaker than even like Krillin or Roshi or Tien, who Krillin beat Majora. So, yeah. Then you would go to Universe 11's Kushni, who was the one who... Oh, crap. Which one was Kushni? No, Kettle was the one who could do the... He was the another fish-looking one who did the energy balls. Who did the energy legislation. Kushni was the one who could do the... and he still beat Pakia, by the way. Kushni was the one who did the energy strings. And Kushni would win this fight. I believe so, yeah. Kushni wins this fight because he's up against Napapa, who, as far as we can tell, only had physical abilities. That's all he had. Which means he can't get close to him, and he doesn't have the durability to take the hits like Goku could when he went into Super Saiyan God form. So, Kushni would win this fight. Then you move on to Krillin versus Majikayo. Now, so far, every one of the Universe 11 fighters has had a victory, but Majikayo is a very unique individual. Yeah, he's like a he's like a sentient liquid metal individual. He can change his size, his power, his form, his shape. He was strong enough to actually hold Super Saiyan Goku in place until Goku went Super Saiyan Blue, in which case he's just, I'm a god. And then he got beat by Jiren. But he's also able to keep Dispo at bay, which is impressive. In fact, I believe it was stated that he was one of the few individuals in the tournament that Jiren was actually required to take on. So Majikayo was really no joke. And Krillin doesn't have any sort of technique or level of power that would really take Majikayo down. I mean, he could blast them, but he doesn't have enough power to just blast them away, as far as we can tell. He even did a solar flare, which he could do. Just solar flare, just and then he just tries blasting away. Destructiveness cuts him out. It's like, oh my god, I killed him, and then bloop, nope. It's like, then he just grabs Krillin and just, it's like goodbye, and then throws him off, and Krillin would be eliminated. So Krillin would still be the first elimination of Universe 11 or Universe 7. I feel so bad for Krillin. So yeah, then we have Dispo versus Nink. Nink's that guy who tried to drag Goku off the edge in the very beginning of the tournament. And Dispo would wreck Nink's crap. Dispo would just wreck Nink. Because we get the idea that Nink has pretty good physical strength. But that's all Nink really has. Then we move on to the next one, which would be Android 17 versus Vikal, the Harpy girl from Universe 2. I believe he nearly beat her anyway, but she got saved briefly. So yeah, that would be a pretty quick fight. You'd take her out. Then next fight would be Sanka, basically the bestial of the fireballs, or a firecracker. What were they called? The three firecrackers. What? Oh crap! What are they called? Give me a second. Kamikaze fireballs. That's what they were called. So yeah, she's the bestial one. Unfortunately, she's going up against Saunel, who is the other Namekian, who is extremely powerful because of the Namekian fusion that they both did. They were extremely powerful individuals. And the Universe 6 besides Dr. Rhoda, had a really good team lined up, actually. Which, if Universe 7 didn't win, we would have wanted to see Universe 6 win. But no, because of that, Senna would struggle for a little bit. But as the fight went on, because even before their powers really their full powers really came into being, they were still giving Piccolo and Gohan a really good fight, and those two were definitely stronger than any of the kamikaze fireballs when you break it down. So yeah, Senao would win that fight definitely. And then you have, oh God, names. I hate some of these names because you remember they had to think up like 60 character names because we hadn't seen everyone. Universe 10's, what was it? Jakol. That's his name. And Universe 10's Jakol, who is the blue Buddhist looking guy. And he goes up against Lilyboo. No, it doesn't. Sorry. He goes up against Mona, who it said he's like a yoga fighting style, but we never really see him fight, unfortunately. I would give it to Mona simply because we saw her fight, and she actually gave Super Saiyan Kaba some trouble when she went all out. So, and this guy was clearly not a Super Saiyan level fighter. Then we have Vun, the dinosaur pride trooper, versus Paparoni. We never really see them fight very much. Pepperoni fight very much, and Vun really is only ever shown trying to bind up Kale. So I would imagine Vun would win overall because he's just a more combat oriented individual. Then we have Cataplesa versus Jimizo. This would be a cool fight because you got the Modo Chenjo. And I know it's power, then super ultra, and then it's speed form. And Jimizo being doing the instant transmission, energy blast, all that. However, I think after a solid bout of like super speed and fighting and stuff like that, I think it would be Cataplesa because Frieza showed that the instant transmission is used usually pretty predictably, and Goku's demonstrated that as well. And Plessa can go fast enough that he could probably react in time to be like, nope, gotcha, boom, and then throw him out. So I think Cataplesa takes that fight. Then we have, who was it? Omni from Universe 10, who's probably widely considered the strongest member of them, versus Botamo. This would be a hard fight for Omni because of actually, this would be a hard fight for both of them because Botamo's power really makes it difficult to really do any damage to him. But Botamo's also not physically very strong, and he would, and Omni's ability to, basically do those kind of like a cool after image technique. Neither one would be able to hit the other and not do anything. The other wouldn't be able to hit the other and not do anything. However, when you actually break it down strategy wise, Omni would eventually be able to figure out Botamo and just knock him off. I think eventually. So Omni would take the fight eventually. And then you have Zarbuto, the beautiful Joe looking guy, the Truffle, versus Kale. We don't really see him fighting very much, but I would say that Kale would eventually take the win. I think with like coaching from Caulifla, other universe fighters, and some self doubt, she would either go Super Saiyan or just eventually, because Zarbuto wasn't overly very strong, so so it's not a super hard opponent for her to go up. Tupper, who is the guy Tupper versus Lilyboo. Tupper, the guy who could basically increase his weight, and then Lilyboo, the butterfly. So it's a guy who gets heavier versus the chick who can fly. See, the problem here is like neither of these guys can really do anything against the other. But I will say it's going to probably be Lilyboo who wins because she can keep out of range of Tupper and then just fire blasts at him and just knock him off or use his own power against him, which was what happened. So I think that's what would happen with that fight, and Lilyboo would come out on top. Shansta, the little Pokemon dude, versus Chepil, the iron dinosaur guy that from Universe 9, or Dragon guy, who was one of my design-wise was one of my favorite Pride Troopers. That one, see, unfortunately, Shansta wasn't even that very clever of an opponent. It's like, I'm going to create illusions, and with Damon, we're going to make you think you're fighting them. No. It's like, okay, I'm going to create illusions, and he realizes they're illusions, and they can't hurt me. Boom, it just knocks him off. So Chapo would win. Sorrel, Universe 9 Sorrel, who was the rabbit, versus Universe 4's kind of Cthulhu, kind of a Dagon witch-looking woman from Universe 4. Seeing as we never really saw any of her abilities for Sorrel, Daka would win that. She would win that. Just because, darkness is my ally, and you really adopted the dark, but I was born into it and molded by it. And then we get finally Goku versus Bergamo. It's a rematch, man, and it would probably go very similar to their exhibition fight. Though Bergamo would be using his own power, not just Goku's. But Goku would still win. He'd probably go Super. Honestly, he'd probably just go Super Saiyan Blue after a good solid spar and then just knock him off. So I do think Goku would be the one who wins in that fight. Well, obviously Goku would be the one who wins in that fight. He already beat him. Then we have Basil versus Roshi. Now this one, in terms of pure power, Basil could go up against Majin Buu. There's no way power-wise Roshi can take on Basil. However, I do believe that they would still allow the Mafaba whole thing going on, because remember, not weapon and all that. It's a cool technique. We'll allow it. Roshi puts it out in the bottle, and that just as Basil is about to come in for the kill, so to speak. He's like, Mafuba! And then throws him out, and there you go. Unfortunately, he knows he can only use that technique once, so because everyone else will now see it. And there you go. Basil gets knocked out. Then you have Kotsuto, who was, which one was he? I believe he was just the standard green robot. No, he was, which one was he? He was the one-eyed robot, wasn't he? Yes, he was. He was the one-eyed robot versus Khalifa. Khalifa in base form shows you can take all three of those robots on pretty easily. So yeah, Khalifa would be the one that just takes that fight. Hit versus Marsun, who was one of the other red guy in Universe 10. Hit would win that fight without any problems. And then the last fight in round 1 would be Murichim versus Dr. Rota. And seeing as we never saw why Dr. Rota is called Doctor, Murichim would win that fight. So we're ending round 1 there. No universes have been eliminated yet. However, trust me when I say next fight's not going to go as well for a lot of people. So, yeah. In fact, let's see here. I'm just making sure I've got this down. Making sure I've got, where is he? Yeah. I will say this. Next episode of this What If is when these universes start getting eliminated. And not the universes you may think. So, yeah, we are now down to 40 fighters left in a Tournament of Power, Budokai style. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, this video was long. They're going to get shorter as the amount of fighters get shorter. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I will see you folks. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Superhero, What If, Magic, anything I do with the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time, folks. And good